about to experience one of the most dramatic temperature swings many of us will see this winter. Within the span of 1 week, we'll go from dangerous cold with life-threatening wind chills to Christmas warmth that could challenge records. To put this in context, we've had record-breaking warm Decembers in 2015, 2016, and 2017. 2023 was globally the warmest December on record. This Christmas is shaping up to join that group with warmth extending all the way into Canada. But before we get to that warmth, we're dealing with a serious emergency unfolding across the Pacific Northwest right now with dangerous conditions spreading across the northern plains. In about 20 minutes, I'll explain why this temperature whiplash is happening and what it means for your Christmas plans. But first, the current crisis demands our attention. The numbers are stark. Over 1 million people are without power at this moment. Washington state has 388,000 homes in the dark. Oregon has 212,000 homes without power. Add in Texas and other affected states, and we're over 600,000 homes total, up from 500,000 this morning. That's well over 1 million people dealing with power loss as dangerous winds continue. High wind warnings cover a vast area across the Pacific Northwest where wind gusts of 60 to 80 miles per hour are occurring. But the wind is only part of the story. Western Montana faces avalanche warnings. Eastern Montana is under blizzard warnings. The Cascades in Washington had blizzard warnings for higher elevations that have since expired, but dangerous winds persist across the entire region. The National Weather Service issued a severe warning early this morning. Dangerous and destructive wind gusts from 50 to 70 miles per hour are forecast across the Northwest Rockies and Northern Plains through Thursday. Gusts exceeding 80 miles per hour are expected over and downwind of higher elevations. Numerous power outages, property damage, and dangerous travel are all occurring as predicted. More atmospheric river flooding is coming for the remainder of this month, making this an ongoing situation rather than a single passing event. The northern plains face a powerful cold front, bringing snow squalls with high winds. Whiteout conditions will develop tonight into Thursday. Visibility will drop rapidly in areas of blowing snow, making travel extremely hazardous. The Cascades and Northern Rockies are experiencing heavy snow below pass levels today and again Thursday, with 1 to 3 feet total forecast. Power outages and tree damage are likely due to heavy wet snow combined with wind on trees and power lines continuing through Thursday night. Travel impacts are severe with moderate impacts across a broad area and major impacts specifically for North Dakota. Let me walk through what's happening. Today's storm brings significant snow across the northern tier. Late evening, it moves across the north-central United States with damaging winds. Wednesday night into Thursday across the Midwest brings more damaging winds and continuing snow. The system moves from the Ohio Valley to the northeast Thursday into Friday, with additional damaging winds and storms affecting the southeast Thursday evening into Friday. Washington and Oregon face continued impacts throughout Thursday with additional snow and significant precipitation. Rainfall of 5 to 10 inches is forecast hitting Oregon especially hard, extending to Idaho, western Montana, western Wyoming, and northern California. The European model shows another atmospheric river arriving over the next 6 days, affecting northern California with an even larger storm system following for early next week. Canada receives substantial snow. Montana, the Dakotas, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and upper Michigan will see some snow, but the Northwest gets multiple feet in higher elevations. The wind forecast is particularly severe, and understanding why helps explain the widespread impacts. These damaging winds persist through Thursday evening. The reason they're so destructive is the combination of sustained high speeds over an extended period. It's not just brief gusts, but prolonged exposure to these winds that causes the cumulative damage to power infrastructure and trees. Thursday into Friday, the wind threat shifts across the Ohio Valley and Northeast, but a wide area still faces dangerous conditions. Gusts of 50 to 60 miles per hour are forecast in the main impact zone, with 70 mile per hour gusts in higher elevations. From Montana and Wyoming across the north-central region, winds of 70 miles per hour are forecast. The most extreme locations potentially see 80 to 90 mile per hour winds. These are winds equivalent to a Category 1 or weak Category 2 hurricane but over land and affecting a much larger geographic area than a typical hurricane. Thursday morning brings strong winds and additional snow with continued Pacific Northwest storms. Thursday evening banding develops along the frontal boundary, potentially creating a linear event with damaging winds across the mid-Mississippi Valley, Ohio Valley, and Great Lakes. Thunderstorms develop across Alabama, Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas late Thursday into Friday, moving across the mid-Atlantic with damaging wind potential and sharply colder temperatures following. A clipper system then moves through with additional winds before the next major system arrives early next week, strengthening through cyclogenesis into Canada and generating 50 to 60 mile-per-hour gusts toward the northeast. The European model this morning confirms this forecast. The GFS model shows a pocket of 50 mile-per-hour gusts the European doesn't indicate, but otherwise they align. Stronger winds around 50 miles per hour may develop toward Kansas, Oklahoma, and northern Texas. Now here's where the dramatic contrast begins, and let me explain the mechanics of why this is happening. We're currently in an above-average temperature pattern across much of the country. The cold front bringing these dangerous winds will introduce a completely different air mass. Freezing temperatures, even negative temperatures with very cold wind chills, will dominate through Friday and Saturday. The Clipper system brings additional cold extending through the 21st and 22nd. What causes such a dramatic reversal? The jet stream pattern is key. Right now, the jet stream has dipped southward, allowing Arctic air to spill into the United States. This creates the cold outbreak we'll experience this weekend. But by Christmas week, the jet stream makes a dramatic shift northward, allowing warm air from the south to surge across the country. This northward shift of the jet stream is what meteorologists call a ridge pattern, and it's what brings the Christmas week warmth. Then Christmas week brings the complete reversal. From Christmas Eve to Christmas Day, a significant warm-up develops. This is being called the Great Thaw because of how rapidly it will melt existing snow cover. It will melt everything, but create flooding concerns as a result. This warm pattern persists through December's end and potentially into early January based on current long-range models. Let me give you the specifics on this temperature whiplash. Friday morning brings freezing temperatures, including negative values. Wind chills will reach -10 to -20 degrees with single-digit and teen readings across the Ohio Valley. The mid-Mississippi Valley stays frozen in the 20s, possibly high teens. Friday's afternoon highs moderate for much of the country, but the north-central region, Midwest Ohio Valley, and interior Northeast remain frozen all day with persistent cold wind chills. Sunday, the Clipper brings freezing temperatures again across the central United States, north-central region Ohio Valley, and Midwest. Negative temperatures return with very cold wind chills. Monday, the cold shifts to the Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, and Northeast with cold wind chills extending south across the lower 48. Then Christmas week's warmth arrives. If your traveling conditions will be favorable across most areas. Christmas Eve features significant warming. Christmas Day will be warmer still. The day after Christmas remains warm. Travel weather for Christmas and following days will be good across most regions except the West Coast and Southwest, where a major storm develops. Let me provide specific guidance by region, because each area faces different challenges during these 3 phases. Pacific Northwest, particularly Washington and Oregon, you're in an active emergency situation. Secure loose outdoor items immediately to prevent them becoming dangerous projectiles in these high winds. This includes patio furniture decorations, garbage bins, anything not firmly anchored. Have emergency supplies ready, including flashlights, fresh batteries, and alternative heating sources. If you have a generator, ensure it's positioned properly outdoors with adequate ventilation. Never use generators indoors due to carbon monoxide danger. More atmospheric river flooding is coming throughout the remainder of this month, so if you're in flood-prone areas, review your evacuation plans now. Know your routes, have supplies packed and ready. Avoid all unnecessary travel, especially through mountain passes where conditions are particularly hazardous with heavy snow and high winds. Understand that power restoration may take multiple days in the hardest-hit areas. Northern Plains, especially North Dakota, Montana, and Minnesota, your critical period is tonight through Thursday. Whiteout conditions from blowing snow will make travel life-threatening, not just difficult, but genuinely life-threatening. Visibility can drop to 0 in minutes. Wind chills will be dangerously cold, reaching those -10 to -20 degree readings. If you absolutely must travel, pack comprehensive emergency vehicle supplies, including multiple blankets, non-perishable food, bottled water, flashlight with extra batteries, first aid kit, phone charger, and maintain a full fuel tank at all times. However, the better choice is to avoid travel entirely during this period if at all possible. Midwest residents, particularly in the Ohio Valley and Great Lakes region, your wind threat window is Wednesday night through Thursday. If you haven't already, secure all outdoor items now, not later. Prepare for the possibility of power outages by having supplies ready, including flashlights, batteries, battery-powered radio, and alternative heating methods if your primary heat is electric. Friday morning brings the coldest temperatures of this entire pattern with those dangerous wind chills I mentioned. Plan to limit outdoor exposure during the coldest periods, particularly early Friday morning. Ohio Valley, Mid-Mississippi Valley, and Great Lakes watch for Thursday thunderstorms with damaging wind potential. Have multiple warning methods ready. Southeast and Alabama, Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas thunderstorms. Thursday evening into Friday could produce damaging winds. Have shelter plans ready. Mid-Atlantic and Northeast face Friday impacts with damaging winds, then sharp cold. Friday morning travel could be affected significantly. For Christmas week, the warm pattern means excellent travel, except southwest and west coast. The rapid warm-up melts snow quickly, creating flood potential. Monitor flood warnings if you're in snow-covered areas. Understanding this dramatic three-phase swing helps you prepare properly. Phase 1. The current emergency with its dangerous winds and widespread power outages requires immediate action if you're in affected areas. Secure property, prepare for extended outages, avoid travel in the hardest-hit regions. Phase 2. The extreme cold. Friday through early next week requires preparation for dangerous wind chills. This is when frostbite can occur in minutes with exposed skin. Know the signs of hypothermia. Check on elderly neighbors who may have difficulty maintaining adequate heat. Protect pets and livestock from the extreme cold. Phase 3. The Christmas warmth brings its own considerations. The rapid snowmelt creates flooding potential in areas with significant snowpack. This isn't just minor flooding. The Great Thaw could cause significant runoff issues. Low-lying areas and areas near rivers and streams will need monitoring. The favorable travel weather is real, but so is the flood potential. This is weather whiplash at its most extreme. From emergency conditions now to dangerous cold this weekend to record warmth for Christmas. Each phase requires different preparations and different awareness. Stay safe through the current crisis. Prepare properly for the extreme cold. Then enjoy the favorable Christmas travel weather that follows while remaining alert to flooding possibilities and aware of that West Coast storm system. This is a week that will test our preparedness across multiple weather extremes.